Hello, welcome back to Smash Hit Sports. We have an incredible episode today, ACC preview with good friend Alex Dauterive. Alex, you are still riding the high of your Florida Gators winning a national title, and now I'm going to force you to talk about some of the teams you hate in Miami, in Florida State, and I'm going to make you say nice things about them. How does that feel?
I feel okay because it's going to be kind of hard to say nice things about FSU right now, so I'm okay with this.
How, as a fan of a rival, was there, obviously, like if Florida winning a national title in football would be a phenomenal feeling. But I feel like the next best feeling to that is just watching your rival eat shit. That has to feel good.
It feels good, but also the same sense, it makes those wins less, valuable right there. I want FSU to be a little better than where they are currently because when we just go there and just beat them so easily, it's like there's no fun in that. Also, if we're going to try to make it to the playoffs, I need that win to count a little bit more. So I'd rather them win a few more games than how they did this last season.
That's fair. We will talk about your Gators at the end of the podcast because I can't have you on and not have you talk about them at least a little bit. But this is the ACC preview, so we got to talk about the ACC. That being said, looking at and talking through ACC media days, and this seems like a conference that wants to be up there with the SEC and the Big Ten. Quite frankly, they're not. Do you think the ACC is better than the Big 12?
Yes, I think so. I mean, they don't have anyone like Clemson in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you're going to compare and contrast, even look at SMU this last season, look at Louisville, look at Miami. The Big 12, after they loosened Texas and Oklahoma, who do you have to compare against Clemson, or Miami with Cam Ward this last season? Who do you have?
Yeah, and I think that's a great point because the difference is the top end. I think the Big 12, top to bottom, super deep conference. Like the highest win total is 8.5. The lowest win total is 5.5. It's going to be a tight race from start to finish. Makes for an exciting conference. But if you were to tell me that a Big 12 team would win the title this year, I would be stunned. I would legitimately be shocked. If you were to tell me an ACC team was going to win the title this year, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me at all because not to ruin a good thing, I might have an ACC team winning the national title. Which ACC team? Who could say? But it really is. I think the top end is just so much higher. And you have had in recent years the Clemson success, but Florida State did go 12-0, and I feel like we kind of forget about that a little bit. But also Louisville's a damn good team too. I'm glad you brought them up. Is there a team outside of Clemson that could win the ACC title?
I'd say Louisville. I'd say Louisville. I am high on them.
Mm-hmm.
I like them. I like their quarterback, even with that switch. We saw what Tyler could do last year. I'm excited to see this change this year. They're a sneaky team. I think some of those losses they also had this last season, they shouldn't have had. SMU's already up there as well. I think SMU's someone that, the past, but then the recency, they have been so good.
Yeah, and Louisville has a crazy easy schedule. I think SMU long-term, I think, is set up for incredible success. Just being based out of Texas, all the money that they have in that program, that is a program that prior to them getting the death penalty has competed for national titles. And that matters to some extent. Like the people at SMU want to win. I'm excited, though, for Louisville. They have a very, very underrated schedule. They only play 4 road games all year. 4. They have 8 home games, which is absolutely insane. But they're 4 road games, not exactly gimmies. One against Miami and then at SMU, who was a college football playoff team last year. I think Louisville's better than both of those teams. But Louisville could legitimately make a shot at the college football playoff, I think. I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah, their biggest games is next season. SMU, Clemson, Miami. I mean, I'd say Whaley, you're saying SMU and Miami, those ones. They go against Pitt. They're beating Pitt.
Yeah, dude. We'll talk about it. Let's get into the tier talk, right? Let's do some tier talk because I think the ACC is going to be as fun of a conference as there is in college football, just because there's so much uncertainty, especially after Clemson. And if we're going to tier rank these teams, so for the audio folks listening at home, first off, number 1, subscribe to the YouTube because you do get some visuals, right? You also get to see Alex and I's pretty face. But the other thing, it's a great way to support the channel. So like and subscribe, all those things. We just crossed 550 subscribers on YouTube. Super excited. We are closing in. I'm hoping to hit 600 before football season starts. Let's see if we can get there. That being said, the tiers for the ACC, I have Clemson, could beat Clemson, feisty, and ass. Because every conference has to have an ass. That being said, Clemson goes in the Clemson tier. Tell me if I'm wrong in saying this, Alex. I think Clemson could run the table. I think they could go undefeated. They are that good. That roster is that talented.
It's like you're saying earlier, we all have a team that we think can go the distance overall, even in the playoffs. And I'm not going to say the team, but I think it is, I'll say it, Clemson. So I think Clemson can just dismantle the ACC this year. The talent they have, wide receivers, running back, across the board, I don't think anyone in the ACC is Clemson. So I do like that you have them separate here in this tier system.
Yeah, so looking at like conference title odds, it's interesting in, hey, like a lot of the teams are plus 400 to win their respective conference, right? Like it's very close in the SEC, the Big Ten. Like there are multiple dogs in the fight for all of those conferences. The ACC is not that way. Looking at the ACC title odds, it's Clemson plus 120. It's Miami plus 380. Everybody else is plus 800 or longer. SMU and Louisville are at that plus 800 tier. There's just a gap. There is a gap. That's how the tiers are. I love this Clemson team. I think this is I'm going to make a bold statement here. I think this is the best roster that Dabo Swinney has ever had. That includes teams with Trevor Lawrence. That includes teams with Deshaun Watson and Hunter Renfrow and T. Higgins and DeAndre Hopkins. I think that this Clemson team is the most talented roster under Dabo Swinney. They have potentially, my bold prediction is they will have 3 top 5 picks in the NFL draft next year. They will have Cade Klubnik, they will have TJ Woods, and they will have TJ Parker, and they will have Peter Woods. I think those 3 guys will be top 5 picks in the NFL draft. I may be as bold to say that they could have another potential elite pick in Antonio Williams at wide receiver. This team is loaded. Not only that, they have the number 1 production returning in college football this year. Not in the ACC, not in the Power 5. In all of college football, they are returning more snaps than anybody else in the sport. I have Clemson as my national champion. Spoiler alert, I have Clemson as my ACC champion. I think we could see the first team in the history of the 12-team playoff to run the table. I think they go undefeated all the way through.
See, I feel like they're going to get one loss somewhere. There's going to be someone that's going to sneak up on them. There's going to be somebody.
Okay, I'll say that. Do you think it? I'm assuming you think it happens in the regular season then, right?
Yes.
All right, let's get into the could be Clemson tier then, right? Because if we're going to say you think they could have a loss sneak up on them, could be Clemson. They do, which is not going to be on the tier list. They do play LSU week 1 at home. Phenomenal game, maybe one of the most anticipated games in all of college football this year. I am so incredibly excited for that one. That being said, their first road game is September 13th at Georgia Tech. Would you put Georgia Tech in the could beat Clemson tier?
I feel like I want to, but I like Georgia Tech a lot. Like I like them a lot. I'd probably have them second or third in the ACC, honestly. Mm-hmm. It's a home game. I mean, we saw what they did against Georgia last year.
Yep.
So, you know what? I'm going to say I think we'll put them in the could beat
Clemson tier. Honestly, I don't hate that. I think I love Haynes King. I like what Brent Key is doing here at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has had some pretty solid recruiting classes, and most importantly, they've established an identity of just being a hard-ass football team. Like their linebackers are tough. Their defensive line is tough. And you said it. I understand that, maybe because it's the last time we saw Georgia Tech in a non-bowl game that we saw them take Georgia to overtime. It was an unbelievable game. And now that's what we think the Georgia Tech team is. But honestly, I do. Like, this is a team that is tough. And I think they are going to stay competitive in almost every game they play all season. I don't hate them being in the could beat Clemson tier.
And then, after that, I mean, it's Miami. It really just depends on Carson Beck. Is he going to be the guy that they think he's going to be? And after that, I really don't. I want to say that's it.
Okay, so I want to read some stats off to you because I think it's interesting. The Carson Beck narrative, I think, has gotten really, really out of control. And I think it happens from SEC fans because Carson Beck is not a bad quarterback at all. Not a bad quarterback at all. Like, Georgia was competing for a national title last year. Now, were they the same Georgia team that they were a couple years ago? No, but I don't think it was the same defense that they had a couple years ago. I'm going to read a quarterback stats, and I want you to tell me who this quarterback is and you know, where you think he's at in terms of the national scheme of things. 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Would you say that's like a top 10 quarterback roughly in the country? Maybe, I don't know.
Yes. That's
okay. 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Carson Beck had 3,500 yards, 28 touchdowns, 12 interceptions last year. The guy I compared him to, Garrett Nussmeier, who a lot of people have as the number one quarterback in the country this season. I think that the Carson Beck hate has gone entirely too far. And I understand that he might not be number one overall pick Cam Ward, but I also think that he's not going to be playing SEC defenses all season. I think Miami is going to surprise people, which is insane because of how much media hype they get every year. But I think this Miami team could legitimately surprise people and make a push at a playoff run.
See, I think they're going to be good. I just don't know if they're going to be better than Clemson. I think they have a chance to make the playoffs. It's just, can they win the ACC? I just don't see them getting past Clemson.
I agree, but I want to put them in the could beat Clemson tier. Because on any given Saturday, I think they could. That being said, we talked about Louisville. I have to put Louisville in the could beat Clemson tier. And there's two reasons. I think that outside of Dabo Swinney, I think Louisville has the best coach in the ACC in Jeff Brom. I love Jeff Brom. He is absolutely outstanding. Miller Moss doesn't, move the needle for me, but neither did Tyler Shuck, and he was good for them as well last year. They bring back a lot of wide receivers. I think they bring back the best running back in the ACC. So I like this Louisville roster. I think they're very talented, and I think they're well coached. I think they have a schedule that sets them up for success. If you were to, look down the barrel of a gun and be like, Louisville 9-3 at the end of the year, I wouldn't hate that. I don't think I disagree with that. So I'm going to put Louisville in the could be Clemson tier. Do you agree?
I agree offensively. The one thing that I'd be more worried about is the defense. Mm-hmm. Offensively, I think they're stacked up. I think they can do it. Like you're saying, the running back, I think the tandem there they have is amazing. Miller Moss, I like him, but Jeff Brom can argue one of the best head coaches in the ACC easily. But yeah, the defense is the one worry I would have with Louisville.
Yeah, I'm going to do a quick Google search here because I'm a stats guy. I like numbers. Louisville, if I could spell, Louisville last season, 64th in points per game defensively. Behind teams like Boston College, behind teams like Cincinnati, behind teams like the LSU, LSU had a better defense last year than what they've had under Brian Kelly. But yeah, 64th isn't going to get it done, right? They have to improve there. I think if they can, they've brought in some transfers, especially at the secondary and defensive line spots, which, the ACC throws the ball quite a bit. I think it's good ads for them. I like them, man. I think Louisville could do some damage. So the could be Clemson tier. Now we have the rest of the ACC. Do you think that there is anybody else in this conference that could beat Clemson? And I want to start with SMU.
That'd be the only other team.
They made the college football playoff last year. They made the college football playoff.
I will give you SMU. I think that'd be the only other. I mean, they did lose some key players this offseason, right? Mm-hmm. They lost some guys, but Kevin Jennings is still at the helm.
Was Kevin Jennings good enough, though, to put him in the could beat Clemson tier? Because I don't know if the roster around, like if he was If he was on an average roster, I don't think that they would be good enough to beat Clemson. And I think SMU kind of has an average roster. Are we going to put him in that could beat Clemson tier? I'm okay with it, but I don't love it.
I think they're the only teams I would have them potentially lose to this year: Miami, Clemson, TCU. That have them at 9-3.
Yep.
Now,
that's fair.
Potentially able to run and play Clemson in the ACC for the conference. I can see them winning that potentially.
Okay. You know what, Alex? You talked me into it. I'll put SMU in the could beat Clemson tier now.
But they're like right there. Like that's
This is borderline. I don't.
Yes.
Brutal. All right. So the feisty tier. I think that there are more teams in the feisty tier than what people would like to admit with the ACC. I think the ACC does have some teams that, can give anybody across the country a run for their money. I'm going to put Virginia Tech in the feisty tier. However, if they underperform this season under Brent Pry, they might go to ass. And Brent Pry low-key kind of on the hot seat because Virginia Tech had the number one returning production in the country last year, and they flopped. And they opened the season with an overtime loss to Vanderbilt. I just don't love – and now, granted, Vanderbilt last year wasn't, the Vanderbilt we've seen in years past. I have concerns. However, they do bring back Kyron Drones. They have a little bit easier of a schedule this season, but I still have some concerns for Virginia Tech. Do you like them in the feisty tier?
I like them in the feisty tier because, look, I think if you look back to last season, they had some close games. They also had some games they just should not have lost, right?
The Miami game was crazy. That was one of the best finishes in college football last year.
That's where I like Virginia Tech. I want them to be better. I don't want to put them in ass. I want to see them do better this year. I want to see them dig themselves out of a hole, not go into a hole. So I like them at feisty.
Yeah. My biggest concern with Virginia Tech is that they do play two out-of-conference teams that people are very high on this year. They play Vanderbilt, they get them at home, but they open the season at South Carolina. And I think that could be tough. Now, you get 2 weeks off. Well, not 2 weeks off, but you get Old Dominion and then you get Wofford before you get into conference play. But, man, that's a start. Opening the season, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, back-to-back weeks. That ain't
the pro
easy.
there, it's in Atlanta. It's not in Columbia. It's in Atlanta. So I think that kind of helps it. I do have them losing that game, but it could help the odds there a little bit. I do actually have them beating Vandy.
I agree. I think, and I love, there's a guy, his name is Ben. He's in my DMs all the time. Love you, Ben. I hope you're listening to this. Loves Vandy. I just don't see it. There's a reason that Vanderbilt's win total is 4.5. Like I'll say it. It is what it is. There's a reason that their win total is 4.5. All right, let's keep it moving. NC State. NC State is a team that I am torn on because I like Dave Doran, but also their win total 6.5. They went 4-8 last year. Like it was such a disappointing season. And Grayson McCall, didn't turn out to be the guy that they thought, they were hoping he was going to be when he transferred in. Now their quarterback, I forget his name. Allow me to do a quick search here. Bailey. What was his name? CJ Bailey. CJ Bailey was pretty solid last year, and he kind of turned it on towards the end. That being said, is this roster ass? It might be ass.
See, it's crazy to actually have NC State shocking the world this season and doing really well. Will that happen? I don't know. I like NC State, but I haven't beaten Florida State. I haven't beaten North Carolina. I haven't potentially upbeaten Georgia Tech.
Fair.
So, but I don't know. I have a few teams I definitely put in ass, but here's the thing: their floor is pretty bad.
Here's the deal. I gave you SMU. It could beat Clemson.
We'll take NC State at ass.
I'm taking a stand here. I like CJ Bailey. I think he's solid. I think losing Kevin Concepcion to Texas A&M, I think is a big deal. He was a great wide receiver for them. I think that this is a team that they lost a lot of offensive line. They were the biggest thing with NC State that I loved under Dave Doran is how good their defense was. And last year, that failed them even. Now you have out-of-conference games. They start at home against East Carolina. I don't know if you remember the bowl game last year, but that was a brawl. These two teams hate each other, and now they open the season there. And then you get Notre Dame on the road in the out-of-conference. This is a tougher schedule than people give it credit for. I'm down on NC State. I think I have them going 4-8, dude. I have them going 4-8.
Oh, jeez.
I'm so down on them. So I'm gonna put my stamp on ass here, but I will note it for the record. Alex does not have them in ass. However, for the graphic, it's gonna look.
Oh.
I'm pushing ass. All right, let's start. Let's talk Duke. Let's stay in the Carolinas. Let's talk Duke. They were kind of nice last year, dude. 9-3. They were nice.
Where did their quarterback go?
He went to Oregon State.
That's what I thought.
Yes, but then they brought in Darian Mensah from Tulane, which I thought was a big get for them in terms of the quarterbacks who were available this year. John Mateer, Jackson Arnold. I think Darian Mensah is right up in that tier, if not potentially better. I think Manny Diaz is putting together a pretty good squad here. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they had back-to-back, 8-9 win seasons. Like, if they won 8 games this year, would you be surprised?
I feel like I have them winning some pretty fun games this season. I have them beating Tulane, which that'll be, I think, a hell of a game right there.
Great game, dude. I'm so pumped for that one.
That one's going to be good. I definitely have them winning over 6 games. 100% over 6.
Yeah,
could see 7 or 8.
We need to do that more often where, like, you leave because they do it in college basketball all the time, where, like, Grant Nelson came from North Dakota State to Alabama, and then Alabama scheduled North Dakota State the next year, right? Like, we need that in college football. Now, I know they'll never do it because college footballers are like, well, it's too logistically difficult. We have to schedule our games 10 years out. Bullshit. No, you don't.
There's been a handful of times this has happened, though, where you get to see the old quarterback play and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think we'll get to see Auburn, Oklahoma with Jackson Arnold, or is it Jackson Arnold?
I would put Duke at feisty. I don't think you put him at ass. I think with what, like you said, Manny Diaz, he's doing a hell of a job over there. It's Duke, okay?
Yeah, they're certainly. I would put them. They're closer to could beat Clemson than ass, I think.
Yeah.
Now they're not in the could beat Clemson tier, but they're closer to that than ass. All right.
So where do you think Syracuse is?
Dude, okay, Syracuse. We have to talk about Syracuse's schedule. I'm going to throw this up. Actually, I'm going to use this as a selfless plug for my betting guide. So I put out a college football betting guide every year. Go check it out. Well, I say every year. This is the second year I've done it. But I put out a college football betting guide, and I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty damn proud of it. I think it's awesome. I put a lot of time and effort into, predicting these teams, what they're going to do. And a lot of it is based off of betting trends, right? And I use, to me, this is a tool to help you win more bets. And go check it out. It's in all of my social media bios. It's $20. So the cost of basically one bet, you get a chance to win a hell of a lot more bets. And I want to take a look at Syracuse. So this is Syracuse's page. We'll zoom in a little bit because we need to. But I want to focus on this strength of schedule 28 does not do them justice. It does not do them justice. A lot of this is being carried by their home games, UConn and Colgate, Pitt, North Carolina. Their road games, they have the toughest road schedule in the country, Alex. At Tennessee, college football playoff team. At Clemson, college football playoff team. At SMU, college football playoff team. At Georgia Tech, 8-win team that took Georgia to overtime. At Miami, a 9-win team. At Notre Dame, the runner-up for the national title last year. This is the most difficult road schedule in the country. It's absolutely insane. It's insane.
I think the one positive with this road schedule, I think the Tennessee game might not be at Tennessee. It might be, is it in Atlanta?
I think it's a neutral site, so it not technically on the road, but it is still.
It's still gonna suck. It's in the South.
Yeah, like it's not. It's not going to be a home game. It's not going to be a home game for
their home schedule is great.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like it's not a. That's why their like schedule doesn't look awful. Like yeah, it's at Mercedes-Benz.
Okay.
And it's why their strength of schedule isn't terrible because that is technically considered a neutral site game. And their home schedule is fairly easy. But, dude, that's brutal for them. Brutal.
See, I have them winning basically every single home game. Every away game.
When you look at their home record from last year, I mean, 6-1 at home. Like, that's not a bad bet to make. Like, they play well at home. And they have an easier schedule at home. If you were to tell me they would sweep the floor at home, I would absolutely agree with you.
But we saw what they did last year to UNLV too.
I have them at 8-4. I know their win total's 5.5. One, I like Steve Angeli, and you can call me biased because I'm a Notre Dame fan. Whatever. The dude has balls of steel to go in the middle of that Penn State game and take them down the field to get a field goal before the end of the half. I think Fran Brown's a good fucking coach.
I like Fran Brown.
He's so underrated in my mind.
What he did last year with that team, beautiful.
Yes, dude. Like they just don't get the credit they deserve. So, shout out Syracuse. We're gonna put them in the feisty tier. However, go check out the betting guide because this is page what? It's page 27. I have how many pages we got? 95, 99 goddamn pages.
Jeez,
so
Louise.
Go check it out. It's a huge piece of work. Did I send that to you, Alex?
No, I'll buy it. I gotta buy it.
No. Friend of the show, you're getting a copy. You're getting a copy for free because that's what we do here. So we are going. I'm not.
I'm glad you had them 8-4 because I have them high. I like Syracuse.
So underrated, man.
And also, whenever I go on live and stuff, they talk about Syracuse so much. They got a very passionate fan base over there.
Dude,
very passionate,
very underrated fan base. I'll say that right now. Syracuse has a very underrated fan base. They're active on the old internets. What next ACC team should we talk about? Here, Stanford. Everybody thinks, what ACC you think of Stanford. What could be Clemson, feisty?
Ass.
Dude, they're so ass.
Ass.
They're so ass.
Oh, man.
All right, Alex, I want to put a perspective game on the schedule. End of the year, we get to watch Purdue and Stanford play each other. Who do you think wins?
Oh, I'd Purdue.
I agree.
Purdue.
Because of Barry Odom. Stanford is in such a weird situation right now where Frank Reich he's an interim head coach. They've gone out and said that. Andrew Luck who is the GM of Stanford Athletics or the Stanford football program right now, it's in such a weird spot. I miss the Andrew Luck Stanford, the Christian McCaffrey Stanford, the who was the quarterback that they had, played for the Browns for a little bit, Hogan, like the Kevin Hogan Stanford. Like those teams were competitive. Fun fact, the first football game my 3-month-old daughter has ever watched was a replay of the 2014 Notre Dame Stanford game.
Oh my
Goal
goodness.
line stand, incredible football game. I miss the old Stanford, and I just don't know if we're ever going to get that again. They're such ass, dude.
Frank Reich's only going to be there. Is it 1 year, right?
Yeah.
Or...
They've gone out and said like he is an interim head coach.
That's right. When they said that, I immediately was just like, that's a waste. That's a whole year is just done. This year is just void. Nothing's happening. It's sad, honestly.
They should have taken a shot at, and I understand that they're Stanford. They're the tradition. They want to do the due process to make sure they bring in the right guy. I don't know, man. It's such a wasted year. Such a wasted year. All right, let's talk through. We brought up Pitt earlier. I like Pat Narduzzi. I like what Pitt does traditionally in terms of being a good defense. Last year, the train fell off the tracks a little bit. They started out 7-0. They finished 7-5.
That's the thing is like they were pretty underwhelming this last year. Like the traditional Pitt you'd think of as this like potentially could be Clemson team was far from that this last season. I feel like you can't put them at ass, so you have to put them at feisty because they're not ass.
I agree. Looking back, hindsight's always 2020. Eli Holstein was great in the first half of that season, and then his production tanked. And it was like, well, why? Because that doesn't really happen. He's a young guy, right? Not a freshman, but his first full year as a starter, and he goes into the back half of the year and was just awful. And it was like, 4 of his 5 starting offensive linemen got hurt. No shit, he wasn't going to do well, And I didn't think about that in the moment, and then I went back and looked at that when I was doing my evaluation for this year. Man, it's just a brutal turn, and as long as that doesn't happen to Pitt again, I think they could potentially win 6 or 7 games. So this in my mind, Pitt's a bowl team. I have to have them at feisty.
I have them winning 6 games at least. So it's like now they do have some hard games.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that they brought back the backyard brawl, the game with West Virginia. It's so much fun. That is the last 2 seasons has been one of the best environments in college football. I want to go to one of those games so badly. It looks like so much goddamn.
Dude, I see the videos of the fans. Oh my gosh. It's beautiful. They hate each other.
Yeah. It is pure hatred. And I love that. I love it. But we have to talk Cal. Get the other
I was about to say we gotta get the other California team in there.
Right. Cal's in an interesting spot. They lose Jaden Ott to Oklahoma. They lose Fernando Mendoza to which Cal for life, he said after they won a game at the end of last season. He's now at Indiana.
Didn't they lose like all their running backs?
Their entire running back room, dude.
That's what I mean. I'm going to say ass. I'm going to say ass. Like I think just everything they lost. I remember just seeing all the memes, and I just felt so bad. It's like that's like one after another. You're just seeing the graphics. Another guy's leaving Cal. Another guy's leaving Cal.
Yeah. It was a tough time to be a Cal fan and a follower of Hayes Fawcett for sure. The Cal situation too. They were one game last year. Like if that Miami game had ended differently, which was just an insane comeback, awesome college game day experience. Like the Cal fans really showed up and showed out for that. If that game had gone differently, I think we're talking about a different Cal, and everything just went off the tracks from that point. So I agree. I think Cal's an ass. It's tough to see, but
what's crazy is Miami last year had that effect on so many of those games. It's insane. So many.
If they had just closed if they had won the games that they should have at the end of the season, I don't know.
What's crazy? There's so many teams like that.
I know. Hey, but that's the beauty of college football. That's the beauty of college football is we never know what's going to happen. All right, what other ACC teams do we?
Wake Forest.
I have not talked about. Okay, I like Jake Dickert. Okay, I liked him when he was at Washington State. I think he is a good football coach. I think that when you go and
it's his first year,
it's difficult, especially at an institution like Wake Forest, where they were the slow mesh, right? Like that was their identity, and they had that, and they reveled in it, and they were good at what they did. You now have to build a new identity within the program. I think that Jake Dickert can do that. I don't think that you can do that in 1 year at a program like Wake Forest.
Give them a few years. I think they'll be okay. Right now, they're ass.
Yep, I agree 100%.
And their schedule, too, for being what they have, it's light, but also it's not light.
It's one of those where it's very imbalanced. Speaking of weird schedules, let's talk about Virginia. Virginia does not play a ranked team on their schedule all year. Like they play 0 ranked opponents. That being said, Tony Elliott has gotten dealt a terrible hand. He was dealt a terrible hand when he initially started the job. Then he had the players who were tragically killed at the end of, I believe that was 2 seasons ago.
Mm-hmm.
And dealing through that and through that adversity is so difficult. I want to commend Virginia for standing by Tony Elliott, because it would have been very easy to be like, hey, last couple of years, not your fault, man, but we're just going to clean house and start over, right? We're just going to start fresh. They haven't done that. And I think Virginia this year could fight for a bowl game. I want to put them in feisty just for the fact that they have fought their way back from ass. They were the bottom of the barrel ass in the ACC, and they have fought their way back from that. I want to commend Virginia. I want to put them in feisty. Alex, are you going to argue ass or feisty?
They're definitely nowhere near leaning towards it could be Clemson, but I would say feisty to ass. I mean, how many wins do you think they'll get this year?
I have them.
I mean, you think they could get a bowl game?
I think they could potentially get a bowl game. Their win total is 6.5. That's
fair.
It's not.
I have them with 5 wins right now, at least. That's what I think they could hit. I'll give them feisty. They're definitely on that teeter-totter. They're on the teeter-totter right there. They have portal wise all this though. I mean, limited funds. They're just not. I don't know. They're not the Virginia you'd want them to, normally would see. Mm-hmm. Now, to be fair, though, Indiana is running away from Virginia, so there's got to be something there, right?
Good point. Hey, Indiana, known for trying to play great teams. I love Indiana. It's a bad visual. It is what it is. I miss the days of college football where you just line up and play whoever and you beat them like that. But you're not incentivized to do it in the 12-team playoff era. It's just what it is. In the BCS, you had to. In the 12-team playoff, you don't. Boston College. I want to commend Boston College. They were better than I expected last year. But
I like Bill
Thomas
O'Brien.
Castellanos. Yes, credit Bill O'Brien. That's the right spot to give credit to. Great call, Alex. That being said, are they feisty or are they ass?
I also love their traditions. There's so many things I just love about Boston College,
As a Notre Dame fan, the other Catholic school does do some things well, The other Catholic school does do some things well. The red bandana game is incredible. I think that's one of the coolest things that any college football team does to honor a former player.
They didn't have it in college football in the game. I was heartbroken.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's the only reason to play with Boston College. Why else would you play with them?
I'll say this: I don't have them going to a bowl game this year.
I also don't have them going to a bowl game this year.
I'm gonna say ass.
Okay. We'll put them in the middle of the ass though.
But they're better. They're close. I would have them. I mean, they're definitely above Cal, obviously.
Yeah.
Also above Stanford.
Yeah, we got to move. Stanford's at the end of ass for sure.
All the way
I'm not
back.
too worried about how teams are ranked within the tiers, but Stanford has to be at the end of ass without a doubt. All right.
But no, I like Bill O'Brien. I'm cool with. I think this teeter-totter. They're close.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I don't, for what Boston College has been recently, Bill O'Brien's a good head coach. All right, we have to talk about the North Carolina Tar Heels. If I can find them on this damn map of teams.
Bill Belichick, is he the answer?
Yeah, I'm not going to put them in the could beat Clemson tier. I do think if you look at North Carolina's schedule, it's not unbelievably difficult. It is weird. They have a very weird schedule because they play TCU to open the season, which I think it's a very beautiful irony that Deion Sanders had to play TCU in his first game at Colorado. Bill Belichick gets the chance to do the same. But they go on the road at Charlotte. That's a weird thing for a Power 5 team to do.
Yeah.
At UCF, there are some weird spots in this schedule. I do think it's a very easy schedule. Their win total 7.5. I have them going 8-4. However, they're in feisty. They're not in.
They can't touch Clemson. They can't sniff Clemson. Some of the teams I have them losing. I have them losing to TCU. Yeah. I am losing to Syracuse. Mm-hmm. So I mean, but it's like you said. I mean, that's Charlotte. That's an easy one. It is weird that they're going to Charlotte. Also weird UCF. But those two games, easy games. First year for Scott Frost at UCF. And then they play Richmond too. Richmond at home.
Yep.
They have some pretty nice cakewalk games.
Yeah, the class. If I would have told you last year even. They're like, hey, we're going to see the Bill Belichick-led North Carolina Tar Heels play the Scott Frost-led UCF Knights. Like, what a weird ass. I love college football. It's so great. There's just nothing like it. There's nothing like it. All right.
I don't know how I feel about it yet, to be honest. Bill Belichick at North Carolina. It still feels weird just to say and see.
I know. It'll be weird, but I'm excited to see him on the sidelines again because he's a guy. I just want to see him coaching football. All right. The last ACC team is Florida State. I think they were cursed by the guy not eating the dog shit. They were cursed by
100%.
Dog shit. That being said, they can't go 2-10 2 years in a row, right? They just can't.
No. They're gonna at least get 4 wins. I like how cocky this quarterback is, right? The guy that they got, I don't know how to say his name, but
Castellanos, the transfer from Boston College.
I like him. I love his attitude. I like that winning mentality. Is that going to get him to win a lot of games? I don't know. That's like I said earlier. I want FSU to be better because it's going to make that win against them a lot sweeter when Florida beats them this coming season. I also don't think Mike Norvell is even worried because I don't think he's on the hot seat. They could have a bad season, he's fine. So I think I think they're closer to ass than they are anywhere else, but you could argue feisty. I think feisty works.
What about this? Dog shit.
I love it.
There we go. We have the dog shit tier.
Just for FSU.
Eat the dog shit tier for Florida State. Oh Jesus, what did that do? You have to eat the dog shit. That's the tier. It's only Florida State. You have to eat the dog shit. Beautiful. I love this. I think this is beautiful. I wouldn't change anything on here. I think this is an accurate representation of the ACC this season.
I like it. Perfect. I like who's in could beat Clemson. I like who's in feisty. I like who's in ass.
Hell yeah. All right. Let's do a quick run through of the win totals. So I'm going to go through, read the win total. Alex, you're just going to give me your instant gut reaction. We're going to go from top to bottom. So the best to the worst, starting with Clemson, 9.5 wins.
They're over.
Yep, agreed. Louisville, 8.5 wins.
Over.
Love it. I'm also on the over there. I have them going 9-3. Miami, 8.5 wins.
Over.
I'm 3 for 3 on the over here as well. SMU, 8.5 wins.
Over.
I have them going under. That's my first. We're going to disagree there. I have them going 8-4. Florida State, 7.5 wins.
Under.
I have them going 8-4.
8-4.
8-4. I do think they go over.
I think they get 7 wins.
That's a good line. I think 7.5 is a good line. Georgia Tech, 7.5 wins.
I want them to go over. I think they're going to go under.
I have them going over. I have them going 8-4. North Carolina, 7.5 wins.
Under.
I have them going over there as well. Duke, 6.5 wins.
Over.
I have them going over. I like Darian Menza a lot. Virginia Tech, 6.5 wins.
Over.
I have them going over as well. Virginia, 6.5 wins. Virginia and Virginia Tech having the same win total. Shocking to me, but they also play 2 very different schedules.
Virginia Tech. Oh.
This is Virginia. We just went.
Virginia, sorry.
Yep, Virginia.
Damn. I'm going to say under.
I agree. I'm going under as well. NC State, 6.5 wins. You know my thoughts. I have them going way under. What about you?
I'm going to say under. Even if it's more, I'd like them to do better. Will they? I don't think so.
I agree. Syracuse, 5.5 wins.
Over.
I have them going over as well. Fran Brown, man. Give me Fran Brown. Pitt, 5.5 wins.
Over.
I have them going over as well. I'm going 6-6, making a bowl game. Cal, 5.5 wins.
Under.
I have them going under as well. Boston College, 5.5 wins.
We'll say over.
I have them going under, but I don't. That's a team I'm not going to bet them under because I do think that Bill O'Brien's a good enough coach. He could take them to a bowl game. Wake Forest, 4.5 wins.
Under.
I'm going under as well. And then Stanford at 3.5 wins, the second lowest win total in Group of 5 or in the Power 5.
Under.
Yep, I agree. All right, let's do some ACC superlatives. You know, the classic, oh, this is my, what my high school did or whatever. But before we get into that, we are going to do an ad read. So all of those win totals, I have the betting guide, and I think it's an incredibly useful tool. Another tool that I use is bookies.com. And you're like, Cody, what the hell is bookies.com? Why should I use it? Bookies.com searches by state what the best sign-up deals are for every single sports book. So I live in Indiana. If I were to go to bookies.com/smash because you're a friend of the program, you go and it'll give you the best sign-up deal for every sports book. So for FanDuel, for BetMGM, for DraftKings, for ESPN Bet, for Fanatics, for any sports book that is live in your state, bookies.com gives you the best sign-up deal for that sports book. It's an incredible tool. It's free to use, and use bookies.com/smash to let them know that I sent you. It really helps me out, and that way you guys get the best sign-up deals, so that way you're not getting screwed over by these books, because the best money is free money. All right. That being said, segments. We have an interesting, we're going to start real easy, though. Most likely to not succeed, but exceed expectations. Little sleeper team, if you will. Who's a sleeper in the ACC?
I think from last year, I could say FSU. I think people definitely doubt them from last season to this season. So I'd say potentially them. I also don't know what your superlatives are. The other ones.
I don't hate that, but I'm interested to see where you go with these other ones. Best home environment. Not the best team at home, the best home environment in the ACC. If you
I'd probably say Clemson.
Game, right?
Clemson.
I know. Ooh. I'm shocked that you went with Clemson. And I know you didn't want to go Florida State twice.
I'd probably say Virginia Tech, actually, too. Virginia Tech and Clemson. I'd probably say, honestly, Virginia Tech. I'm going to switch it to Virginia Tech.
So I got to experience a watered-down version of Enter Sandman. My brother-in-law played for the University of Cincinnati when they played Virginia Tech in the Military Bowl a couple of years ago under Luke Fickell. And so obviously it's not – the game was in Annapolis, Maryland, not in Blacksburg, but they still did the Enter Sandman. And Annapolis is not far from Blacksburg. That stadium, dude, shook. Like, it was the most intimidating thing I'd ever been a part of. It was incredible, an awesome experience. I would love to go to a game in Blacksburg. I think that's a great pick. I think that's an incredible pick.
I've been there, but not for a game. It's such a cool campus, such a cool stadium, too. And just the tradition.
Yeah. A lot of great stuff going on at Virginia Tech. Most dangerous offense.
Clemson.
Yeah, it's got to be, dude.
Clemson.
They're just so good. They're just so good. Most clutch coach. And I wanted to do this a little differently, right? Because everybody's like, oh, what quarterback is clutch, right? What team? What coach at the end of the fourth quarter, your team is tied, you need to go down, win a game? What coach in the ACC do you trust the most?
It'd have to be, but what's sad is this. You can't say it's like crystal ball. We've seen so many of these flukes, right, at the very end of games where he loses these games.
We know who it's not.
I would have to say Dabo, right? I mean,
no love for Bill.
I like Bill. I'm not going to say Bill Belichick yet. Bill O'Brien, I could honestly argue Bill O'Brien potentially, but not Bill Belichick yet. Bill O'Brien, it depends on the team. So, I guess the team, we've seen Clemson, pull off some crazy wins. There's a reason they're number one. I'll stick with Clemson.
Yeah.
But also last year, look at Cristobal in those so close games. Oh.
Crazy. Team most likely to decide the conference race. Now, I worded this, teams that could fuck it up. Not like Clemson, right? We know that they are good. Not like the team that could fuck up the conference race for other teams. Who is that?
I'm going to say Louisville.
Ooh. I almost think Louisville's too good for that. I think Louisville might be too good to be in that range. I like Georgia Tech here. I think Georgia Tech could fuck up somebody's day too.
I'd say either of those two.
Yeah, that window of teams for sure. All right, we have to pick our ACC champ, right, and our conference title matchup. Before we do, the Home Field Apparel, they do the best college merch in the game. It's second to none. I do not have any Home Field ACC merch, at least not that I can think of. I have so much Home Field merch at this point. I guess I have Notre Dame, which is an ACC team for basketball, and I have basketball merch. So I guess I do have some ACC merch from Home Field. But use code SMASH, get 15% off your first purchase at Home Field, homefieldapparel.com. They have the best college merch. It's absolutely incredible. They're doing, Alex, I don't know if you follow them at all. They're doing
those boxes, right?
The college football boxes are sick, dude. I want to get one of those. The problem is I have so much Notre Dame shit that I can't argue getting more Notre Dame stuff. But
you got to mix it up.
At the same time, do I get a box for another team? Am I going to be that invested in a team that I should get a box? Let me know in the comments if I should get your team's box. That kind of sounds sexual, but I'll do it. I'll get all up in your team's box. All right, Alex, what is your ACC title game, and who is your ACC champion?
I think we'll see Clemson and Louisville.
I love it. I love it.
And I have Clemson.
Okay. I also have Clemson. My ACC title game, though. Call me crazy. Call me weird. Call me gross. I think it's going to be Clemson, Georgia Tech.
See, I'm okay with it. I like Georgia Tech. I want them to be this like juggernaut in the ACC. So I like that.
I love Brent Key, man, and I think what he's doing is great. Haynes King kind of cast aside, from Texas A&M, and now he's out here balling. So give me Clemson and Georgia Tech.
Haynes King is just slept on, I will say. One of the best returning quarterbacks like right now. One of the best.
And I think part of what makes him good is knowing who he is. Right, like he's not going to try to go out, throw the ball, 35 times a game and beat you that way. He's not, but he'll run you the fuck over. And I think knowing who you are as a quarterback is almost as important as just being a super skilled guy. So I'm excited. I think the ACC is going to be a lot of fun. Alex, do you have any other ACC thoughts that you need to get off your chest before we have to do? We'll do 4 minutes of Florida Gators talk. All right, just for you. We'll do 4 minutes.
I'd say Clemson, Miami, Georgia Tech, and Louisville. I think the two teams that hopefully shock the world in the ACC will be Georgia Tech and Louisville. I want them to win these games against when they play Miami and Clemson. Will it happen against Clemson? Probably not. But I want to see some competitive games. I want to see close games. Like we're talking about those fourth quarter, who would you want to be your head coach? I want to see that happen. I want to see people sweating there. That's what I'd like when it comes to the ACC. I don't want to see SMU coming and steamrolling somebody. I want to see some close, fun, competitive games.
Hell yeah. All right, let's talk about your Florida Gators. I promise we do it. The hype around Florida is real. It's deserved because this is a very good team. It's a very talented team. That being said, you have the most difficult schedule in the country. I don't think that anybody else can really make that argument. I guess if you want to argue Wisconsin, but I think Florida's schedule is as tough as any team in the country. You start, with 2 out-of-conference games, but you go on the road at LSU. You go on the road at Miami in a non-conference game, right? You get Georgia in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. You get Florida State, who, say what you will, they're not going to be 2-10 this year. What are your thoughts on the Florida Gators? What's your expectations coming into the season?
My thing is this team stays healthy, they can honestly run the gauntlet when it comes to the schedule this year. They have the talent there. They really could do something crazy.
Damn.
Now, can they stay healthy I think that is the key. Our wide receivers are already getting injured. We haven't even started the season. DJ Lagway, obviously, there was a little scare there to start. So it's like, if our players are made of glass, that's not an ideal situation. But we got the amount of players that we have coming in this season. This is probably the best. This is the best team Billy Napier has had this entire time there. Easily. DJ Lagway, I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in college football right now. His power is everything. He is insane. Wilson, coming in, wide receiver. Watch Wilson. This kid is going to be special. He's going to be something different. I love our wide receiver core. I also really am high on our running backs. Our O-line, though. The line's really good. Like, just around the board, it's a solid team. Defense, too.
That was my one of my points that I put in the guide was how good the offensive line was. Like, I think that's where games are won and lost in the SEC is up front, offensively and defensively. And I think Florida is as good there as any team in the SEC. Dude, they're good.
Now, the schedule. The thing is this, I'd say I would be worried, but look, we ended that season on such a high note with those wins. Ole Miss, LSU, and then that bowl game against Tulane. They ended such a perfect season, like how they did. Billy Napier was on the hot seat. They were like, nah, he's not on the hot seat anymore. We're going to win these games. Now, I think we go into Texas 4-0, or against Texas at Florida. I feel good about that game. Even if we lose to LSU, still feel good about that game. I think there's a chance Florida could be 9-3 and make it in the college football playoffs. I think they're that one team that could potentially at 9-3 just sneak in.
I would agree because I think their schedule is so difficult. I don't have them going 9-3, but I don't have them far off of it. I have them going 8-4. I think the end of their schedule sets up really nice for them because you have from October 18th on, you have, even though this is a difficult string of games, how it's laid out kind of works out well because you have Mississippi State on October 18th. Then you have a bye before the game against Georgia, which I think is huge, having that bye before that game. Then after that, you go on the road, but it's against Kentucky. That's not you should beat Kentucky, right? Then you get Ole Miss on the road, but you beat them last year. This is an Ole Miss team that is losing a ton of production, right? Jackson Dart's gone. Trey Harris is gone. And, like, Lane Kiffin's lost to Florida before, right? Like, this ain't nothing crazy. Then you get Tennessee at home. Tennessee can't fucking win in the swamp. They just can't. And then you get Florida State at home, which if you're as good as you think you are, you should win that game too. So if you end the year with winning, going 4-2 in those last 6, maybe 5-1 if you could beat Georgia or Ole Miss, like I think Florida could come in with a really hot at the right time and really make a push for the playoff. Now, you're right, they got to stay healthy, but damn, this is going to be a fun team to watch. I'm excited for it.
Florida gets hot at the end of the season. That's just what happens. So the good thing is those first 3 games, those first 2 games, gimme games. That's kind of what you need. Going against LSU at LSU is rough, but the good thing is we play Texas at the Swamp. So I think that those last 6 games, Georgia being at the very end there, they're going to be hot. They're going to have their identity. It's not going to be this, we're going from Graham Mertz to DJ Lagway, injuries back and forth. Yep. We know who we are.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. That being said, incredible episode today. Make sure you go give Alex a follow. I know you've been putting in the work on TikTok, dude. It's been very impressive. Like you're live pretty much every damn night. What's your TikTok handle? Is it just at Alex Dauterive? Just
at Alex Dauterive, yeah.
Dauterive. Fuck, I have been fucking that up.
You're good.
6 minutes or 60 minutes into this damn episode. All right, Alex Dauterive. Go give him a follow. Seriously, dude, thanks so much for coming on. If you want to follow Alex's stuff, I will link it in the description of the audio version of this podcast and on YouTube. Go check him out. He also has a YouTube channel as well. Go check him out there. Alex, thank you so much for coming on, man. I wish you nothing but success during this football season. And go Gators, right?
Go Gators, baby. Look, I love coming on. It's always a blast. I love seeing what you've been doing lately. The guests you've been this man has been having some star-studded casts on here, making some great content. So I've been loving seeing all the content you've been creating. It has been so much fun, the variety you've been posting. Normally I don't say this, but hopefully Notre Dame has a good season, and hopefully they do better in the college football playoffs when they make it to championships. If they make it to championships. I don't know if you haven't making it that far.
We'll see you there.
There we go.
How about that? Hell yeah, man. All right. Appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you having me.